The first thing that we need to talk about in Agile is the user requirements. And the user requirements in Agile are written in a form that's called a user story. So what is the user story and how do we write it? The user story is a requirement, and like we see here, he says that user stories are written to capture requirements from the perspectives of developers, testers, and business representatives. The user stories must address both functional and non-functional characteristics. So we need to understand how do we write the user story. If we open Google and write user story example, let's open images. So like you see here, this is the user story. The user story is written in the form of, as a person, I want some functionality so that I can reach a goal. And for each user story, we write something that's called acceptance criteria. The acceptance criteria are the things that when done, we can say that this user story is done. We have implemented this user story. So like we see here also, as a persona, I want to do something so that I can realize a reward. So let's see an example of a user story. This is just a template, so we can say login. So here, like we see, for example, we have this application. We have a mobile user who registers, logins, and goes to his account. And we have a web user who registers to the application. So here, for the registration, we can say, as a user, I can register for the application by entering my email, password, and confirming my password. As a user, I will receive a confirmation email once I have registered for the application. As a user, I can register the application through Facebook, and I can upload a photo and add my name to my account. So this is the registration. For the login, for example, we have login by email and password, login with Facebook, and resetting the password. For the account, I can view my account information, I can edit my photo, and I can edit my email, and I can log out. Like we see here, as a user, I can view my personal information. He didn't say so that I can get something. So this is not a must. You don't have to write the user story in this form. As a user, I want something so that I get another thing. The important goal is to capture the requirements of the user in a good way that the whole development team can understand. So let's see another example. Here he says we have a title, the customer inter-account transfers. The customer wants to transfer money between his accounts. This is the user story. As a bank customer, I want to transfer funds between my linked accounts so that I can fund my credit card. And here are the acceptance criteria. This is acceptance criterion 1 and acceptance criterion 2. So the acceptance criteria can be written in this form. Given, when, then. Given some state, when the user does some actions, then the system will respond with a specific response. So here, given the account has sufficient funds, when the customer requests an inter-account transfer, then ensure the source account is debited and the target account is credited. Another acceptance criterion, given that the account is overdrawn, if the customer doesn't have enough balance, when the customer requests an inter-account transfer, we will ensure the rejection message is displayed and ensure that the money is not transferred. Here we have something that's called definition of done. We will talk about it later. So those are some other things that must be done before we say that this user story is done. For example, here, all unit tests must be passed, the acceptance criteria are met, the code is reviewed, the functional testing has passed, and the non-functional requirements have been met. And we also met the non-functional requirements, and also the product owner must accept the user story. We didn't talk yet about who is the product owner. Also, we have an estimate, 5 points. What are those points? We will talk about them later. So this is an example of a user story. In the next video, we will use a tool in order to see how we write a user story using this tool.